Well, as you well may know, studying human nature is an extremely important idea and skill to have in your life. And the following is a compilation, a kind of greatest hits of all the best moments in my many, many interviews in which I've dissected the various aspects of human nature. So enjoy. We all come from the same source. We all share the same nature. Our brains are wired pretty much the same. Yeah. There's actually very little difference between who we were now and who we were 10,000 years ago. So if we all come from the same source, we all have the same flaws and the same propensities. Mm-hmm. We all have aggressive tendencies. We all tend to be self-absorbed. I pound this fact into your stupid little brain over and over again in the book. I don't let you try and wriggle out and say, oh no, it's not me, I'm not like it, it's the other guy. Yeah. No, you are a narcissist. You are self-absorbed. Yeah. Some people are much bigger narcissists than you are, granted, but you share that trait. And the only way out of that trap is to become aware. And once you become aware, it does sort of change how you look at yourself and how you think of other people. You are less judgmental about them. In the Laws of Human Nature, I write about irrationality, envy, aggression, or narcissism. Narcissism is a good one. Oh, they're a narcissist. I'm not a narcissist. I'm not self-absorbed, but they are, yeah. I don't have any of those traits. Well, damn it. Every single human being has self-absorption traits. We can't help it. We naturally think of ourselves first. Yes, there are people who are much deeper narcissists in life, no doubt, and there are toxic narcissists, but we all have a touch of it. I want you to be a little more humble in this world and not be so arrogant and not think that you are somehow exempt from having a dark side, that somehow you were born with a halo over your head, that you were born different, you don't have human nature, that you're a saintly person, you're much better. Get rid of your moral superiority, because I find that deeply offensive. We are all cut from the same cloth. But if you go around in life thinking, I don't have any of these problems, I'm not a narcissist, you're never going to have the awareness to stop the fact that you are actually one. Actions are a language that you're not paying attention to. When someone is continually late for an appointment or continually late in delivering work that they're supposed to deliver, that's a sign of passive aggression. That's a sign of some kind of character flaw. And if they do it once, they'll probably do it a second time. If they do it a second time, something's going on, right? If their desk is all messy, etc., these are signs of something going on internally. Pay attention to all of these details, and it will really help you in life. Character is the core of a person, something they can't control, something that comes from deep within, and it causes people to have patterns of behavior. And you want to find people who have a strong character to associate with, as opposed to a weak character. And what a strong character is people who are adaptable, who are fluid, who can admit that they are wrong, who can learn from their experience, who can take criticism, who can work with other people. So I want you to focus not on people's charming exterior, on their funny words, on their wit, on their charisma. Instead, focus on that deep inner quality, that core, that character, because that's who they really are. Your character is creating what happens to you in life. There's the famous quote of the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus, "Character is fate." Nobody ever does anything once. So let's say you have a friend who does something kind of nasty to you. They talk behind your back. Then they'll say, oh, Robert, that was just, something came over. That isn't me. You know, I'm sorry about that. That just happened. Circumstances made me do that. And you'll be likely to believe them. But the fact is, if they've done that once, they've probably done it many times. If people gossip and you hear them gossiping about other people, they'll probably eventually gossip about you. So you want to be able to look at people's patterns and look at their past and see trends and understand that if they've done certain things in the past, they will continue to do them, because we humans have compulsive behavior. We're compelled to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. An exercise you can do is you go up to somebody from an angle where they can't see you coming up to them, and you surprise them. You go, hey, Mike, whatever. They turn for that second. Their expression reveals how they really think about you. If you can pick up micro expressions, and you can, they're only like 1/150th of a second, but they're there. You can express a kind of, and they smile. You can see the little disdain in their eyes Then the mask comes on. Or you're talking to them, they're looking at you, but their feet are facing in an opposite direction. That means that they're dying to get away from you. These are signals that you don't necessarily pay attention to. Their posture will tell you everything about their levels of confidence. The fake smile, if you can just master the ability to detect the fake smile, it will go wonders for you, because you're able to see what you really want to do is to see the person with a genuine smile, particularly in romantic relationships. Someone whose face lights up, a real smile lights your whole face up. It doesn't light your mouth. These parts of your face go up, your eyes get alive, and it means that someone genuinely likes you. They're genuinely interested in you. They're genuinely laughing or connecting to you. Man, if you can see that, it'll help you so much in the romantic realm, and it'll help you get away from those toxic people that are continually faking interest in you. Because a narcissist, a toxic person, thrives by deceiving you with a charming, alluring front that makes you come into their world, and they can hurt you, then they can do something to you. So being able to see that they're not genuinely interested in you, that they're faking it, will help you avoid very toxic relationships. The worst thing is to repress your anger, because then it'll only come out in other ways. You'll burst out and do something really irrational and stupid. You'll hit somebody. You'll end up in jail, or something terrible will happen. You can't repress it. You have to deal with it. You have to channel it into something productive. And I think of several icons of that. The person that comes to my mind is Kobe Bryant. I'm a Laker fan, and I love Kobe to death. Kobe was filled with anger. That guy had lots of rage inside of him. And he'd go out there and beat people up. He'd put her on the basketball court, and damn it, you're not going to beat me. He's going to be the most competitive person on the planet. But that's a socially productive way. We loved watching him play like that. For me, with my anger, putting it disguised into the 48 Laws of Power, where I got my vengeance on all those Hollywood people that screwed me, etc., that was, I guess, productive anger. I tell people who are artists, put all that dark anger energy into your film. People love it, because we're also repressed in this woke, politically correct culture. We're all like this. We all have our anger. And when somebody puts it on the screen, we go, whoa, we're all just breathe. Oh, that's so great. Yes, we can all vent it. So find either in some way a way of making it productive, but do not repress it. One thing I want to do in this book, and I think it can really liberate you, is to not take anything personal. Now, I know that sounds like an ideal that's really difficult, because we're always taking something personal. If someone says something, we get in an argument, or they say something that we perceive as hostile, we assume that they're being personal, that they're attacking us for who we are, and we really are upset about it. But nothing is really ever personal in the realm of social relations. Oh, not nothing, rarely is it. So that when a person shows anger towards you, or resentment, or some kind of negative emotion, 95% of the time they are dealing with their own emotions, their own problems, their own traumas, something from their childhood. So if you realize in that moment that they are frustrated not because of you, but because of the day that they were having, because of a phone call they had earlier in the day, because of problems rooted in their childhood, it frees you up from getting resentful and angry. If you're angry about something, you don't act on your anger. You wait 24 hours, 48 hours before sending that email, before yelling at someone. If you're highly ambitious and you show too much of it, sometimes it's good to show ambition, but you need to show a certain amount, not too much to frighten people. Well, that's what these books are about. They're being self-aware that in a certain situation, you enter an office, 30 people, and you suddenly show that you want to be like the number one person. You're going to find your path really difficult in life. But if you show that you don't have any ambition, no one will respect you. So you have to hit that proper medium.
Got it.
And you learn how to do that. You learn by your mistakes, you learn by the people you've pissed off, that you've alienated, and you learn self-control.
Your attitude is either opening or closing your mind, making you a conventional thinker or a youthful, creative maverick. Now, there are two sides to this power of altering your attitude. The first side demonstrates the power you have by altering your attitude will alter your behavior, making you less fearful, more open and creative. The other side is the social effect, the effect that you have on other people through your attitude. This creates what I call a self-fulfilling dynamic. And if you can understand this concept, it is like magic. It gives you the power to influence people in this world.
As people talk and they use words to conceal what they're thinking, their bodies reveal what they're actually thinking behind the words. Through their nervousness, their tone of voice, the eyes and the mouth tell you incredible amounts of information. Milton Erickson mastered this language, and as he got older, he used this in his therapy, where he would have patients enter his room. He became a psychoanalyst, and he deliberately placed his desk at one end of the corner so they would have to walk into the room. And he could understand from the way they walked and their gait, whether they were nervous, whether they were excited, whether they wanted to change their lives or not. He was so brilliant at it that people later in life, people thought he was psychic. He could literally read your thoughts. It was unbelievable. The point of this story was that humans have this ability to master this second language. We've become so self-absorbed with our smartphones and our technology, we're not paying attention. And when we do pay attention, we project onto people our own emotions, our own desires, or we're very quick to judge and categorize them. That person's good, that person's evil, that person's likable, that person's not likable. And so seeing just a small portion of who people are, we naturally misunderstand and misjudge them, leading to all kinds of problems, to bad decisions, to bad strategies. If you want the power, the ability to influence people, to get them on your side, to get them to do things that you want, you have to first think of this fact that they require validation. And if you make them feel insecure about their intellect, about their morals, about their willpower, you're going to create an enemy. You're going to create the opposite of validation. So knowing the power in it, knowing the deep, deep, deep human need we all have for this, to be treated as an individual and to be respected and appreciated for some quality that we have, then use that power on other people and think of how you can give them a sense of that validation. So look at those things where they need to feel validated, where other people aren't giving it to them, where there's a quality that they feel is underappreciated, and you can sense that in them. And give them that sense of you see them for who they are, and you're reflecting back to them the sense that they are important, that they are worthy of attention, that they are a decent or brilliant or whatever kind of quality that you want to reflect back on them. The metaphor of the rider and the horse. The rider is your rational thinking, your mind, and the horse is your emotions, your energy, your power, the animal part of your nature. If the rider is too dominating, if you're afraid and you want to control that horse and make sure it does everything you want, you hold the reins really tight, you squeeze your thighs really hard into the sides of the horse won't respond or do anything because it picks up that you're trying to control it too much. But if out of fear of trying to work with the horse, you just let it go and do whatever it does, it can become very dangerous. The horse can ride wherever at very fast speeds. What you need is a balance between the two. So you, the intelligent part of the equation, understands the animal, knows that it has to control it to some degree, but can't over-control it. And then working in harmony, you can channel that powerful energy that comes from the animal part of our nature that actually makes us accomplish things and do things. You can channel it for productive purposes. So please keep this in mind. Rationality is not about tamping down your emotions. It's about creating this beautiful harmony, this balance between the thinking process and the emotional animal parts of our nature. Amor fati, which means love of fate. And it basically means love everything that happens to you as a way of learning and as a way of toughening yourself. Life involves pain.
Yes.
Life involves loss. The people that you know are going to die. You're going to get ill. You're going to have terrible things happen to you. People are going to screw you. Bad things are going to happen. That is life. That's what life is about. That's what any animals had to deal with. That's what you have to deal with. If you complain and you wish things were otherwise, that means that you don't love life. You don't like life. You don't accept it. Be the opposite. Accept everything that happens and find a way to love it and see the purpose behind it. You need to think constantly that people have an ego. They have insecurities. You have to be careful about what you say. I mean, I'm afraid in the work world, it's very important. In the laws of power, we're mostly dealing with things in the work world. You have to be careful about what you say. You can't just speak whatever you want to say. You can't just show how brilliant you are and how wonderful you are. You have to realize that you have to think more about the other person, about their insecurities, and get outside of just trying to think about yourself. Enviers will reveal themselves through what we call micro-expressions. If you tell somebody suddenly, you suspect that they're an envier, and you tell them of some good news that's happened to you, for a split second, you will notice a slight frown on their face, a slight sign of unpleasantness, like they swallowed a lemon, and they'll disguise it with a smile. I swear if you're aware of it, you'll see it. On the other hand, if you tell them something bad happened, I didn't get that job, or I lost, the mortgage in my house, for a moment you'll detect a slight smile, a slight look of pleasure. It only lasts for half a second. There's a guy named Paul Ekman who writes about emotions, and he's coined the expression microexpressions. And he literally can show you photographs of what they look like. They're very fast because people can't help but feel a little bit of excitement when you tell them bad news, or feel a little bit of pain when you tell them something good about yourselves. Then they disguise it. Comparing yourself is not self-reflective. When you compare yourself, your standard is always what other people are doing. They're on these great vacations. He's got a great job. Tom has this amazing house where I'm living in this hovel in Los Feliz, right? That's not looking at myself. That's always having the other person as the standard. It makes us so out in the world, in other people, what other people are saying, what other people are doing. It makes us continually think in the social sense and not able to turn inside and look at who we are, what makes us different. We're so attuned to what's cool, to what other people are doing out there, to what other people are saying, that we lose kind of an intuitive grasp of who we are. We are in deep, deep denial of the fact that we are mortal creatures. And I believe that with that denial comes a great deal of latent anxiety in your life. It makes you anxious and fearful for a lot of little smaller things in life, which is why somebody who's had a near-death experience gets rid of that anxiety and doesn't have that kind of avoidant mentality. So I want to open up, we tend to turn our back towards death, and I want you to turn around and face it square in the eye every single day. It's not a negative thing. It's an immensely beautiful thing. You're not paying attention. You're not really listening to people. You have these kind of simplified images of who they are. Yep. You kind of project onto them your own problems. You judge people as good or bad, friendly or unfriendly, and you have no insight or understanding of people. And the reason is that you're not really truly interested in other people. You're mostly interested in yourself and in your own ideas. And I want to change your perspective. I want to tell you, people are fascinating. People are weird. They're a lot weirder than you think they are. Even that guy who's just handing you your coffee in the morning every day, he's got issues. He's got traumas from his childhood. He's dealing with all sorts of stuff you can't even see. Yeah. If you could look into people's dreams, you would realize they're a lot weirder than you think. Yeah. People are fascinating. It's good to have feedback. It's just sometimes you can't trust people's feedback. I agree with that. Like, people will be political with you. They may not be very honest. They may be afraid to be honest with you. So you need to have the ability to do both. The greatest sign is when you've had an interaction with people and it didn't go the way you expected it. The person was colder than you thought. Maybe they were offended. Are you going to go back home and, God, that guy's an asshole, fuck him, what an idiot? Yeah. Or are you going to go home, or are you going to say, what did I do wrong? Was I being too dramatic? Yeah. Was I being too personal in the situation? Yeah.
Was I moralizing too much? Can you go home and self-reflect and say, well, maybe I have some of these problems? That's the difference between you and the toxic type. The toxic type can't go through that process.
You have to look at yourself. You have to focus deeply. You have to go through a process, being honest and going, what excites me? What do I feel like makes me unique? The power that you have in life is mining that uniqueness, mining that individual quality in whatever field you go into, even in business or being an entrepreneur. And so you can't have that self-awareness if you can't focus, if you can't concentrate, if you can't be bored and take a notebook and start writing things out about your childhood, about who you are, about what you love and what you hate. If you can't do that, I'm sorry, but there's no hope for you. There's really no hope for you. So you have to be able to put yourself on that information diet and go into that introspective process.
The most elemental law of human nature is that we deny that we have it. It's always... the other people. I'm not a narcissist. I'm not aggressive. Oh, I don't have a dark side. No, I'm not irrational. No, none of those things. So we want to deny it, but it's so insanely irrational. We all come from the same origins. We're all cut from the same cloth. No matter our culture, no matter our gender, no matter our period in history, we all have the same genetic components. We all went through the same evolutionary process, the same brains wired in the same way. Some people are deep, what I call deep narcissists, no doubt, and they're toxic and they're difficult. But if some people have that, how is it that other people don't have any of it? That's not possible. There must be something within all of us that would make us all prone to becoming deep narcissists. But some people, it makes them fall into that deepness. Others, we're able to save ourselves.